My dear friends, respect is not something we can demand with force, nor can we beg for it with desperation. Respect is something we earn by the way we live, the choices we make, and the values we hold. Just as the sun never has to announce its light, it simply shines and is respected by all. If we can remove the habits that block our inner light, people will naturally respect us. In life, everyone wants to be respected by family, by friends, by colleagues, and even by strangers. But the truth is, respect is not given to a title, wealth, or power. It is given to a character that reflects goodness, discipline, and divine values. God has gifted each of us with dignity and worth, but our habits sometimes hide this divine nature. Today, let us reflect together on the 5 habits we must remove if we truly want to earn respect, not just from others, but also from the divine source who watches all of our actions. Arrogance is one of those silent destroyers that eats away the very foundation of respect. People may tolerate arrogance, they may even remain quiet in front of an arrogant person, but deep inside, they do not respect him. Respect cannot be demanded with pride, it is earned with humility. There is a big difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence comes from self-belief, from faith in God's blessings, and from hard work. Arrogance, on the other hand, is when that confidence gets polluted by ego. And ego is like smoke, it clouds our vision and suffocates the light of our soul. Think about the tallest mountain. It does not need to shout that it is tall, its height is visible to all. In the same way, a truly great person does not need to announce his greatness. His actions, his words, his behavior, all speak louder than any claim. But arrogance makes people feel the need to prove themselves, to constantly compare, to constantly dominate. And the sad part is, the more arrogant a person becomes, the lonelier he feels, because people slowly move away from that energy. Let me give you an example from daily life. Imagine a workplace where 2 leaders are present. One leader is humble. He listens to his team, values their opinions, and shares credit for success. The other leader is arrogant. He thinks only his ideas are right, he takes all the credit, and he constantly reminds everyone of his superiority. Now, both may have authority, both may have power, but who will truly be respected? The answer is obvious. People may fear the arrogant leader, but they will admire the humble one. And when you are admired, people will stand by you in your tough times. When you are only feared, people will abandon you when you fall. Arrogance often comes when we forget the source of our blessings. If someone is intelligent, he thinks, "It is my brilliance." If someone is wealthy, he thinks, "It is my hard work." If someone is beautiful, he thinks, "It is my charm." But let us pause for a moment. Who gave you the brain? Who gave you the opportunities? Who gave you the body, the face, the health? Behind all these gifts is a divine hand. The moment we forget God as the source, we start worshipping ourselves. And when the self becomes God, arrogance is born. In spiritual teachings, humility is often compared to water. Why? Because water always flows downward. It seeks the lowest place, yet it is essential for all life. Without water, nothing survives. In the same way, a humble person may appear simple, may appear low in pride, but he sustains relationships, communities, and respect. And look at arrogance. It is like fire. It always rises upward. It always wants to be above everything else. But if not controlled, it burns down everything in its path, even the very person who carries it. In our daily life, arrogance shows up in subtle ways. Sometimes it is in the way we interrupt someone, thinking our point is more important. Sometimes it is in the way we dismiss someone's struggle because we feel ours is greater. Sometimes it is in the way we look down on people who have less money, less education, or less status than us. But remember, every person is fighting a battle we cannot see. Every person has a dignity given by God. When we fail to honor that, we not only lose respect from others, but also from within ourselves. I once heard a story about a successful businessman who was extremely arrogant. He would walk into a room and expect everyone to stand up. He would boast about his wealth and insult those who had less. One day, a financial crisis struck. His business collapsed. The same people who used to surround him disappeared. He realized in those lonely moments that what he thought was respect was actually fear. And fear vanishes the moment power is gone. Respect, on the other hand, stays even when power disappears, because it is rooted in love, not fear. So how do we remove arrogance? The first step is gratitude. Every day remind yourself, I am not the source of my blessings, I am the receiver. Just as the moon does not create its own light, but reflects the sun, we too are simply reflecting the gifts of God. The second step is to practice listening. Truly listening to others makes us realize that wisdom is not monopolized by us. Every person has something to teach. And the third step is service. When you bend down to serve, arrogance has no place to stand. Think, there is a saying, small minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. When our conversations are filled with gossip and unnecessary criticism, we shrink our own value in the eyes of others. People may laugh with us in the moment, but that they do not walk away respecting us. Why? Because deep down, everyone knows that if we can gossip about others in their absence, we can also gossip about them when they are not around. Respect is never earned through gossip. It is lost. Gossip and criticism are like polluted air. If we inhale it constantly, our mind becomes toxic. Have you noticed how after spending time with someone who always complains or criticizes, your own energy feels drained? On the other hand, when you sit with someone who speaks positively, who uplifts, who talks with purpose, you walk away inspired. Words are not just sounds, they carry vibrations. And those vibrations either build respect or break it. Let me share a simple daily life scenario. Imagine two colleagues at the office. One spends time talking about others behind their back, about how this person dresses, how that person behaves, who is making mistakes. At first, it may feel entertaining, but slowly everyone starts noticing the pattern. They begin to think, if he talks about others this way, surely he talks about me too. Over time, trust is lost. Contrast this with another colleague who avoids gossip. When asked about others, he either stays silent or speaks respectfully. Over time, everyone starts trusting him. They know he is safe. He becomes respected because his words are clean. Criticism is no different. Of course, constructive criticism has its place. When we lovingly guide someone with the intention to help, it is valuable. But constant fault finding, picking out flaws just to feel superior, or mocking others, this kind of criticism only lowers our own stature. It is like sitting in a room full of mirrors and pointing out cracks in every one, forgetting that we are also standing in front of those mirrors. When we criticize unnecessarily, we reveal more about our own insecurities than the other person's faults. Think about how God has designed us. No two fingerprints are the same. No two voices are the same. Every individual is unique. So why compare and criticize what God has created differently? If someone sings well, admire their talent. If someone struggles, encourage them. If someone is different, accept them. Respect grows when we celebrate diversity, not when we tear it apart with criticism. I remember a story of a wise teacher who gave each of his students a balloon. He asked them to inflate it and write their names on it. Then all balloons were collected and thrown into a hall. The teacher said, "Find your balloon." The students rushed, searching for their names, and chaos broke out. No one could find theirs quickly. Then the teacher said, "No, instead of finding your own balloon, pick any balloon you see and give it to the person whose name is written on it." Within minutes, everyone had their balloon. The teacher then said, "In the same way, if we stop focusing only on ourselves or pulling others down, and instead uplift them, we all get what we are looking for." Gossip and criticism focus on tearing down. Encouragement focuses on lifting up. One destroys respect, the other builds it. Daily life gives us opportunities to choose. At family gatherings, people may start talking negatively about relatives. At work, colleagues may criticize a manager. Among friends, gossip may revolve around someone who is absent. In those moments, we have two options: join in and lower our dignity, or choose silence and protect our respect. Silence in such cases is powerful. It shows self-control. It shows maturity. And people notice that. They may not comment immediately, but inside they feel, this person is different. This person is trustworthy. Let's also remember that gossip and criticism harm us spiritually. When we spend time speaking about others' weaknesses, we feed our ego and starve our soul. Our connection with God becomes weaker because the heart becomes filled with negativity. Respect is a reflection of inner purity. When our words are pure, our presence becomes respected. So how can we overcome this habit? The first step is awareness. Whenever you find yourself starting to gossip or criticize, pause and ask, "Is what I'm about to say helpful? Is it kind? Is it necessary?" If the answer is no, swallow the words. It takes discipline, but it builds respect. The second step is to redirect the conversation. Instead of talking about people, talk about ideas, goals, solutions, or gratitude. Lift the conversation upward. The third step is to practice appreciation. Instead of criticizing, look for something good in the person and speak it. This not only earns you respect, but also spreads positivity. True respect belongs to those whose words heal, not hurt. If your presence makes people feel safe, if your words make them feel valued, they will respect you naturally. Gossip fades, criticism fades, but kindness remains in memory forever. People may forget the details of your achievements, but they will never forget how you made them feel with your words. Therefore, remove the habit of gossiping and criticizing, because every time you choose silence over negativity, encouragement over fault, finding and respect over ridicule, you elevate yourself, and respect, like a shadow, will follow you wherever you go. Anger is like fire. A little flame can give warmth, cook food, and provide light. But when that same fire becomes uncontrolled, it burns the house down. In the same way, anger in its raw form is just an emotion. But when we allow it to dominate our reactions, it destroys peace, relationships, and most importantly, respect. People may fear an angry person, but they rarely respect him. True respect comes not from raising your voice, but from raising your level of calmness. Have you noticed how in moments of anger, we say things we later regret? The words slip out like arrows, and once they are released, they cannot be taken back. The wound caused by harsh words is often deeper than the wound caused by a knife. A knife cuts the body, but words cut the heart. A scar on the body may fade with time, but scars on the heart can last a lifetime. That is why controlling anger is one of the greatest strengths a human being can develop. Imagine a parent who constantly shouts at their children. The children may obey out of fear, but deep inside, they feel distance instead of closeness. Now imagine another parent who corrects their children with firmness, but also with calmness and love. The children not only listen, but also develop respect. The same applies in workplaces. A boss who yells at employees creates tension, anxiety, and a culture of silence. People work out of fear, not respect. But a boss who handles mistakes with patience builds loyalty. Employees go the extra mile because they respect him. There is a beautiful saying, "When you are angry, you will give the best speech you will ever regret." Think of that for a moment. How many times have we ruined a relationship, spoiled a friendship, or created distance with someone we love, all because of a moment of uncontrolled anger? Later we may apologize, but respect once broken is not easily restored. It is like a glass once cracked. Even if repaired, it is never the same again. Daily life is full of triggers. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone at home forgets to do what you asked. Someone at work criticizes you unfairly. The natural instinct is to react instantly, to let anger speak. But in those very moments lies the golden opportunity to earn respect. People watch not how we behave in comfort, but how we behave under pressure. Calmness under fire is what makes a person stand out. I once heard about a wise monk who was insulted by a man in public. The man shouted, accused, and tried to provoke him. The monk simply listened, smiled gently, and remained silent. When the man left, the monk's students asked, "Master, why did you remain silent when he insulted you?" The monk replied, "If someone tries to